doing the bull dance, feeling the flow, working it, working it. SCV chat starts now.
Hola. Soy Christmas in Dixie V.
Don't speak Spanish, Harrison. You can't speak Spanish. You just said that you are Christmas in Dixie 5, and you're not. I can't say what I want to say because the views and opinions expressed in this broadcast are not necessarily those of the SCV, its GEC, nor any division, brigade, camps, or other subsidiaries. Strictly those of us who are expressing them, and
Hola. Welcome to Christmas in Dixie 5.
yeah. To us, Gordo. Which is Spanish for he is a large man. Speaking of large men, Chris and it being Christmas and Harrison making a promise last week, where's the gag reel?
I left it in Wayne County.
That's not what you were saying before the show.
Fine. I forgot about the gag reel and was editing it at 5, thinking I would have enough time, but I forgot I had to edit 2 years worth of gag reels since I didn't do last year's either. So I got done with season 4, but couldn't get done with season 5 in time. So, that's on me. I'll take the blame. I'm a man that accepts responsibilities for his actions, and I apologize to the chat heads. Yes, Halloween ended 2 months ago, but it's Christmas in Dixie, and we usually wear costumes for Christmas in Dixie.
It's something Orsakian.
No, since it's so hot in Mississippi, I thought it might have been summertime. So I thought, why not wear something summery?
Next year we really need to get a bleep key because I think that I can't say the R word I want to call you right now, but anyway, with it being Christmas in Dixie, let's get festive.
Holy crap, look at us with production value.
Yeah, I know, especially because I didn't realize that I had a hand and I uploaded that picture in the wrong, that video in the wrong spot. So, yeah, it doesn't show. I've been saving that all day for this.
We have a special guest in the booth today. Come on.
Yeah, Harrison's dog's there.
Hey, Allie. Here we go. Nope, where you going? Come on, Biggin. Oh.
Biggin, that's Rich.
She hasn't been on an episode in a while. She's been a puppy last time y'all saw her.
She just had puppies.
She did just have puppies. Making
Speaking
sure
of,
isn't a poor broke college student.
Are y'all still really within the first 5 minutes? You're going to get that one. You're already going to use it.
Yeah. Look at her.
I tell you what, because I'm in the Christmas mood, you can have 2 this season or this episode.
She made sure I wasn't poor this holiday season. Thank you, baby. Merry Christmas. If anybody can remember her full name, I will give you all the credit in the world.
Besides me?
Yeah, because I think you would be the only one to remember it.
The Confederacy's last stand at Fort Blakely in Mobile, Alabama, or something like that.
Yeah, her name is Dixie's Last Stand in Blakely, Alabama. We got her in Alabama, and we usually name all of our dogs at the farm after Confederate generals, but we were like, I don't know if Forrest is going to work for a girl, so we decided to name her after a battle and shortened it to Allie for Alabama because we got her in Alabama. So, yeah, her name is Dixie's Last Stand at Blakely, Alabama.
There's an extra L in there, Captain.
What?
Blakely.
Piss. Merry Christmas, everybody.
Moose's dyslexia is the gift that keeps on giving 365 days a year.
All year long.
There we go. Yeah, now we're in the Christmas spirit.
Yeah, look at us.
Yeah, because I redid the video, redid the background and threw it up there. We got the Christmas tree and the cozy Christmas fire and Yule logs and no Yule goats. Hey, speaking of Christmas and gifts to keep on giving, Miss Jill at headquarters asked us to let everybody know that the life member and the regular member logo duffel bags are back in stock just in time for Christmas. $74, and they're really great quality. The last day for purchases to be delivered by Christmas is this Friday, the 13th of December. You must be a member in order to purchase. Pretty sure that if you're a wife and you're trying to get this for a husband or a mother trying to get this for a son, make sure you got their membership number so you can order it for them.
Yes.
But
definitely want one, Connor.
The last what?
I said I want one. Are you going to get me one for Christmas?
You had whipped cream shoved in my beard a couple of years ago. What do you think?
Yeah.
Yeah, no, think again. Also, it's the Christmas goat.
It's the Christmas goat.
Yuletide goat. For those that don't know, in Scandinavian countries, they have a tradition about goats. I'll leave it at that. Checking on everybody in the chat. There's David Franklin or David Pope. How are you doing, David? The Make Dixie Great Again channel is on. Go check them out. David Weiberg from South Louisiana, from the Mouton Camp. Chuck Mack said, "Happy National." I really like this new thing. Happy National Llama Day. Can't stay on, but wanted to thank us for a great year and happy National Llama Day. Robert, of course, from Arizona. Kent from Kentucky. Paul Gremling Jr. Yeah, I've been wondering where gentlemen are too. Kyle Thompson coming in at 7:05. I think we started the stream a minute late. Jason and Lloyd, hope that you're doing well. I'm still looking for that reunion ribbon for you, but I did send you that reunion medal from 1896. Very well priced on that. Roy, how are you? Rich Garcia, Feliz Navidad to you too. And we're sorry that Harrison butchered Spanish like that.
Hola.
Jason, I don't want to say what he looks like. He's too hefty to be the guy from the Paul Hanks or Tom Hanks movie with look at me, I'm the captain now. That's definitely not you.
The reason the whole thing with Spanish came up was because me and Connor were talking about, as you can tell, I'm not in Wayne County this evening, everybody. I traveled up to Upper Mississippi, and we had a nice Latino man tell me that I am very large. And Connor laughed at that for about 45 minutes. And so that's why I am speaking in Spanish. Hola. Ois, Christmas in Dixie 5.
Yeah, other than hello, I don't think you said anything in Spanish.
Yeah, ois. Uno, dos, tres, cuatro, cinco. I failed.
Yeah, so the reason why we end the episode with no Fumar in the elevator is very specific because of Harrison's lack of ability to be able to speak Spanish. We were in Florida in Jacksonville, and he was struggling in college Spanish, and I was trying to help him somewhat with his Spanish homework because I took 2 years of it in high school, 1 year in college. And I can speak enough. I have enough conversational Spanish to, survive or get my rear end kicked. So anyway, and I speak it very anglicized, very, very much, like your typical redneck white guy. And I've got a couple of where I work at, we have a couple of Hispanic employees that try to act like they don't speak English. So my first week of working here, I was instructing them to do something, and I broke out my Spanish, and they knew I knew enough to cut through that crap. Anyway, I digress to tell y'all this. Harrison was, I got to come up with a Spanish sentence. And in the elevator, there was a plaque that said in English, no, and right in front of Harrison. Harrison could see it. It said no smoking in the elevator in English, and then the no and the smoking sign in there. And then underneath it, it said no Fumar in el elevator. And I said, well, no Fumar in el elevator. What is that? It's a good sense. What does it mean? So it means no smoking in the elevator. How do you know what that means?
And it was so funny because, no one says anything. Just Carl and Connor and my dad just slowly turn to the sign, and you could just feel the defeat in the room.
Yeah,
the professor told me that she's never seen a student suck worse in Spanish, and I had to drop that class because off of her recommendation to drop it and never take Spanish again.
Yeah, so he looks. I know this is after the defeat. This is where the defeat comes from. You look at the sign and look at us and say that just says no smoking. Like you completely missed the second. You completely forgot the second half of the sign that said no smoking.
I completely forgot about that part. Let's never talk about that again.
Yeah, no. But it is Christmas in Dixie. Our fifth one. We tried to remember. We tried to count it back. So our first one was 5 years ago. We technically have done 4.5 seasons. So in 2020, we did our first one. For those that don't remember, during the birth of chat, we were on another streaming platform that shall not be named. Gotta get that taste out of my mouth. We were just getting good traction on there, and like the first week of December, they come out and they say that they're going to ban the display of the battle flag.
Oh, don't forget, we made a partner on that platform in record time.
Right, which meant that we were about to be monetized from that platform.
Mm-hmm.
So this platform, it's still around. There are people that still use it. But on that platform, and we were one of the first channels that actually were just having conversations and not playing video games. So if you know. But anyway, so because it was mainly a video game broadcasting platform, they like PlayStation and Xbox and video games would put in advertisement at the beginning of the show, and with that advertisement, it would we would get some of the money. So we were about to start, we were planning on donating it to the museum. That what we didn't raise to offset our costs. So it was like we were about to starting to get paid by these liberal Yankee companies, and we were excited about it, and they did away with that. So then we discovered StreamYard, and we came over here, and our first episode was our last episode of the year on Facebook. Our first episode on Facebook was our last episode of the year.
And the first Christmas in Dixie as a season finale was born.
Yeah, and because we do like to take a break for the last couple of weeks, reset ourselves and do some of our behind the scenes work. So that was that, and then and we did our second one, our third one. Now we're here on our fifth one. So it was it's been to quote the Grateful Dead, a long, strange trip. So that was that was fun. Yeah, Jason, I caught the Vaya con Dios, King of the Hill reference. But this is our time to kind of let our hair back. Even though last week was a silly episode, it gives us a chance to get back to our old stuff and talk about just whatever we want to, and celebrate another successful year where we've come together, and which this year we're extremely thankful for all of y'all, everybody who's gone through, liked the page, shared the page, and everything like that, because we've reached over 1 million people this year alone. Over 1 million people worldwide have heard of the Sons of Confederate Veterans. They've heard of why?
I'm sharing the episode out.
Just take it off.
Take what off?
Okay, don't put that in next week's thing. Take the eye patch off.
Too late.
So Jason, we'll get to that. Answer that. But again, 1 million people have heard about the SCV. They've seen what you guys are doing out in your communities, whether we're posting the pictures or Harrison's doing it with Look Around. They've heard about what the Confederation is doing, at least on the national level, with commanders' comments. We have several partners in this, including Look Around Florida with Sean McFall, especially highlighting the Florida division. We're happy to have a somewhat partnership with Michael C. Hardy and his chats there on Sunday nights. The Friends of Douglas Southall Freeman with what David's doing over there, and really we're it's a loose confederation of shows that are starting to really kick off and take over on social media. I was listening to I guess you could I don't know what you would classify Charlie Kirk as nowadays. But I was listening to Charlie Kirk's show on my way into work, a clip from talk I don't get a chance to sit there and listen to his entire show. So listen to clips, highlights of the previous day's show. And he was talking about, how conservatism is on the rise in the college generation. And that's what, is kind of been our thing, is try to reach out, on social media, on our different platforms as much as possible to hopefully get somebody who's young and interested in the SC or in their heritage, or just traditional values to at least look at us. Now, that's not being said, conservative is, we're not talking about politically, or Charlie was talking about politically conservatism. I'm just talking about maintaining what the qualities that the citizen soldier of the Confederate States of America fought, bled, and died for. Those same qualities that are American that, look at us today. That's what I'm talking about. So I'm definitely not plugging his show. Those are my views and opinions on it. So that's that. But Jason, to answer your question, was one of our first videos from Franklin. One of our first videos on Facebook was from Franklin. We started in July or August of 2020, shortly after the national reunion.
It was that last week in July, because the second episode of SCV Chat to ever happen, I wasn't there.
Right.
Because I take a week off, or I used to take a week off of everything in August, first week. So, yeah, it was SCV Chat started the last week of July in 2020 on that platform that shall not be named. We decided to make a Facebook. I can't remember why we decided to make one.
Well, we made the Facebook. Well, at first, we were trying not to get banned from the other ones. We were trying to, before we put a product out there that we could be, somewhat proud of, which I am proud of it. We've come a long way. I mean, heck, even this past year, getting these microphones, which you left at the house, I see.
I was wondering when you were going to call me out on that.
Yeah, I was waiting for the opportune moment. We've grown in equipment and stuff like that. But we wanted to start getting our reach out there, and we created the Facebook page. And anyway, Jason, we went up to, it was the 155th of Franklin, and we went up to Franklin, and went up to, maybe it was the 155th.
You were showing me your ancestor, and we had just went to HQ.
Yeah, well, we decided we were gonna do a special for Franklin up at headquarters, and we went and we got a hotel, and we rode around. It was snowing. Yeah, it was snowing, and went up to Winstead Hill. We didn't go live from Winstead Hill, but we took the ye old Ford that's no longer with us, and went to the McGavick Cemetery, and then went to headquarters and filmed an episode from headquarters, talking about the Battle of Franklin. It was a good evening. So that was our first video we put on Facebook. We at that point we were afraid of putting anything on Facebook because the climate that we were living in that era was not.
We're still living in it, and honestly, I think we're more shocked than anybody that we have been. Facebook is actually, you know what? I'm not even going to say it.
Yeah, we're not going to chance it, but we have been extremely blessed. We'll just leave it like that. So
blessed to be successful now on more than one platform. And technically, we had been successful on 3 platforms.
Yeah.
That's massive accomplishment in and of itself. We talked about this year a lot because we reached over 1 million people in under 6 months. But we have accomplished a lot in this year with us being now established on YouTube, which
still go give us a follow if you're not following us.
Yeah, please do, because there is going to be at some point more exclusive content on YouTube.
Yeah.
But we have now been successful on 3 platforms, which some people struggle to be successful on one platform. And even some of the most successful creators out there cannot have more than one successful place, one successful platform. And so
and our thing on it is we measure our success differently from other folks. Our success is, 1 million people is great, but as long as even if we reach, our membership is 35,000 people. So if we reach 36,000 people on social media, then we're happy with that. It's just that's our thing, is which actually our total reach for this year's well over 1 million. So it's I just had to check the numbers.
We'll pull the numbers up.
No, I just pulled them.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So it's we're extremely blessed. We appreciate every one of y'all who watch. Everyone who joins our Patreon, which again, you can join our Patreon for $10 a month. We're saving up for some new equipment right now, as well as upgrading our StreamYard subscription so that we can have an actual better. We record one season, and when we record that season, we delete the previous season. So that if we were able to upgrade our StreamYard subscription, we could have a larger archive of stuff.
That would be great. Speaking of which, you know what we have reached in just under a month?
No, but we're not going to broadcast that right now because I don't know it.
I'll put
it's probably substantial, but
pretty big.
I don't want.
Someone would say it's huge.
We've had better months.
We've had better months, but I'm just saying for people who.
Go ahead and say it. But considering how we've we've missed several episodes.
We've missed episodes, but holy crap.
and the holiday season and everything like that. So
the holiday season, not to mention, like we've always equated us to the new age of TV shows, where you see a lot of TV shows just be online and not be on cable anymore, to the point where there are news television shows, I'm going to call them, on YouTube, on social media, that outview, traditional media. The fact that we're competing with all them in just this month, in the past month of November, we reached over 51,000 people. Over.
Yeah.
And that's with the fact that, sadly, I will admit, with work, I haven't been able to look around a lot. Our numbers are higher than ever, not just with this month. This month is probably actually a low month with 51,000 compared to some of our other months. We had a couple months where we hit over 100,000 views a month. But the reason I say all this is to tell everybody, first off, thank you for supporting SCV Chat. Please keep sharing. Please keep supporting us, because we only have greater things coming y'all's way. But this has been a success, and we're not ones to pat ourselves on the back. But I like to take at least 1 or 2 episodes a year to tell everybody, this is what we're doing. We're dedicated to this. I might not look it, but this is the favorite part of my week, and we're here to stay now, and we're here to really take back the narrative.
Yeah. So just for those that are interested in supporting us, what we do, we got 2 ways you can support us. Of course, our first is our Patreon. but we also, just in time for Christmas, just as a reminder that we have our bonfire store up and running. You can get lovely T-shirts, and for our Leave Dixie Alone is what we call it, which is, Jefferson Davis's quote, "All we ask is to be let alone," with his signature, part of our Southern signature line. We have those in T-shirt, comfort color T-shirts, which are, softer colors that go all the way up to a 3XL in some colors and a 4XL in other colors. Available in the Army colors. So like this blue jean is the ATM. This butter would be for the AOT. This crimson for the ANV. I know it looks like more like. And then, if you're just a member of the at-large headquarters camp, we've got a gray. Again, same colors, yellow, gray, blue, red. But all of them have the, all we ask is to be let alone. But we also have them in a sweatshirt version.
Ooh.
Oh, and we have it in orange. Do you know why we have it in orange, Harrison?
Why do we have it in orange, Connor?
2 reasons. 1, I built the store. And 2, because Tennessee's going to the playoffs. So go Big Orange.
Yeah, go Big Orange. I'll give y'all some credit. We that's still a rough subject.
Yeah.
Both my schools did not perform well. Oh well, it'd be like that.
Well, I mean, at least they did better than Southern Miss.
I always take relish in that fact that at least we're not the worst. Fun fact, I did some math, and so I took shorts out of our video views and just saw how much shorts we've done. And please note, we've done maybe 20 shorts this year, nothing crazy. And honestly, they don't really impact the views that we were talking about earlier. We reached over 100,000 people with just that, not even talking about our episodes that, of course, have reached over 1 million people. Our shorts alone. And so get ready. We're going to be really working Adam hard to get more shorts because we steal them all from Adam. Yeah,
we need to crack that whip. Heck, I bet he ain't even watching.
Hey,
but
because he knows he's off for the month. He doesn't have to get ready.
Yeah. Well, we love Adam. Adam's a special sort of guy.
Thank you, Adam, for making all of our shorts for us.
Yeah, no,
because thank you for letting us steal your shorts.
Thank you for letting us steal your TikToks. I'm not going to say thank you for letting us steal your shorts. That sounds a little bit too.
That sounds a bit weird, doesn't
it? Yeah, it does. Speaking of headquarters, again, reminder, back in stock, duffel bags. Last day to purchase is this Friday, $74.
Oh gosh.
So before we get kicked in and kind of the little bit of the topic that we have, eggnog, it's a riot.
Boom.
For those that are going to be interested, I'm going to read y'all a blog post that I put on the Patreon about a month ago, just so y'all can hear what y'all are missing. Kind of my humor and wit. A lot of times when I'm stressed out at work, I'll write something on the Patreon and put it up, or at least give you behind the scenes what we're doing. Speaking of Patreon, our Moosehead Book Club, next week we will not be on live on the air because we will be recording the next episode of the Moosehead Book Club, where we're doing Albion's Seed, the 4 British folkways into America. I don't think anybody has joined Patreon besides Jude. Jude, message Harrison. And Harrison will message Dave if you want a copy of the book that we're reading, so you can listen to what we're reading. Provided David Pope still has copies available. I'm on another screen, so I can't see if he's commenting or not. This episode will be only for our Patreon listeners. And you can still, Harrison, do me a favor and post our link back to the first episode in the chat on both Facebook and YouTube so that y'all can give it a listen, our first episode. So y'all can be prepared and get caught up and join Patreon for $10 a month and get the next episodes on this. So what are you going to say there, Boosie?
So we didn't this is a more traditional podcast, unlike our regular show. So it is only in podcast form, but if you go, and I am going to post the link, you can go to scvchat.com, click on episodes, hit Moose Book, the PS. Help me out here.
Moosehead Book Club.
Thank you extremely, sir. It's my show, and I can't pronounce the deadgum opening. But if you go to that, you'll see at the bottom, listen to the first episode free. Click that. It'll take you over to the link to watch it. So I'm going to post.
Listen to it.
Yeah. Don't start that again. Please don't.
You watch with your eyes. You listen with your ears. You taste with your tongue. You smell with your nose.
So
feel with your fingers.
The first link. And here is the second link.
So for those that are not familiar, David Hackett Fisher did a dive into the 4 major British groups that are Anglican, or British groups that came in and settled the United States, or these United States of 13 colonies, and how their impacts can still be felt in modern America. The first section is on the Pilgrims. The next sections that we'll cover is the Cavaliers and the Scotch Irish. And the way he does it, he breaks it up into different folkways. So it's not really, it's one big chapter on the Pilgrims with like 21 different subchapters. And there are some subchapters that honestly do not affect where we are today. Somewhat. I mean, like in the South, there's still, like the French Acadian style homes, the Greek Revival homes, the column, things like that are still, prevalent down here, but aren't that important. But as our things that are important that we'll focus on is the overall rundown of those groups, which that's kind of what our first episode was, trying to understand what they are, and then breaking into the different ways. So there's the family way, which talks about, or familia, because we're doing our episodes with Latin titles. I know I just put the dip of stuff in, but I'm going to throw it out anyway. Family ways, gender ways, marriage ways, sex ways, child rearing ways, naming ways, and aging ways. So pretty much how the family unit was dealt with, kind of, is where we're doing that. Then their daily lives, which is, dress, food, and how they learned. Their time ways, which is the ways they spent their time working, measuring time, and playing sports. And then finally their power ways. Or their government ways, imperium. So power, social ranking, social order, how they viewed freedom, and how they viewed economics. So yeah, it's a lot to unpack, and like I said, it's spread out throughout the big Yankee or big Puritan chapter. So we're rearranging those into their own sections. So we'll be recording that next week, and you can only listen to that on our Patreon. That episode only on our Patreon. So yeah. Anyway, this is a little Christmas story that I really hope that y'all will enjoy. Yeah, so I will not say, or first of all, Moose, do you know what Santaphobia is?
I've never heard of it, but I'm going to guess it's a fear of Santa.
Yeah, I don't have Santaphobia. I'm not afraid of Santa Clauses. But as far as mall Santas and Rena-Santas, to quote past chaplain in chief, the Reverend Dr. Herman White, I'm against them. and it is definitely SCV related. Why I'm again them. So for those that don't know me, my dad was born. He was a member. He was a member and camp commander of his local SCV camp, and grew up going to SCV meetings. And so while I was there, and meetings and reenactments and headstone dedications and cemetery cleanup days and just anything and everything the SCV does, I grew up going to them. Well, we had a member of our camp who I saw at every event. Older man with a long beard. Saw him in a t-shirt. Just, I can't remember his name, but, that was him. I knew him. So anyway, one Christmas season, that member of Dad's SCV camp was moonlighting as a mall Santa. I'd seen him at meetings with the white beard and all, but in my 5-year-old mind, I never clicked. So we were at the mall, and we're standing there at the mall in line, and we're about 3 kids away from the front, and my dad had just gotten off work. He wore a shirt and tie to work every single day, and reached up and pulled his SCV lapel pin off of his sports coat. And he handed it to me, and he says, "All right, now you show this to Santa." No explanation, just pure chuck. So we finally get to the front of the line, and I'm, a 5-year-old. I'm going to go see Santa. I'm, what the world do I have to lose? I begin strutting up to Santa with all the confidence in the world, until Santa looks at me and he says, "Well, hey, that's my little buddy Connor." And I froze because I'd been watching Santa the entire time. And Santa's normal greeting was, "Oh, ho, 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 Merry Christmas, little boy. Oh, come on up here, little girl." He wasn't calling any of them by name. And again, I'm strutting up there, and he drops the name on me. I'm like, huh? Yeah. And according to and it was like like a train suddenly hitting the brakes, and according to my mom, I turned about as white as as fake snow. That cheap fake snow at that. So Dad comes up there and he pushes me along to Santa. Santa picks me up and plops me in his lap, and then he starts grilling me about the SCV meetings. Now, this camp met at Shoney's. Shoney's, for those younger listeners, was a restaurant chain that's no longer around anymore. And being a creature of habit and being 5 years old, I ordered the same thing every time, the same meal. It didn't matter. I ordered the same meal. And so he asked me why I ordered the baked spaghetti. And just because I like it, sir. Yeah. And then he started grilling me on which Confederate general I like best. "Oh, do you like General Lee? What about Stonewall Jackson? Do you like Nathan Bedford Forrest? All that stuff." "Yes, sir. Yes, sir. He's one of my favorites." Just again, this is, he knows when you're sleeping. He knows when you're awake. He knows you've been bad or good. Be good for goodness sakes. That's in the public domain, so we can't get copyright struck on that. So, he's grilling me on that. And then he asks me, did I have fun killing Yankees at Fall Muster, which Fall Muster is the annual reenactment at Beauvoir, the last time which Confederate President Jefferson Davis Memorial Shrine, 3rd weekend in October. Y'all come out and see us. But he asked me if I had fun killing Yankees down there. And, yes, sir. Yeah, just crap
out of you, that part, didn't it?
Yeah, exactly. Well, you're usually really good at SCV meetings, but you can sometimes get antsy, and your dad has to get on to you. So you sit down and behave at those SCV meetings. Yes, sir. And needless to say, for years on, I never squirmed again in an SCV meeting.
Gosh.
Yeah.
I don't have anything like that. Mm-hmm. Now, my brother hated. My little brother.
Well, Harrison, the story doesn't end there.
There's more. God bless you.
There's more. This childhood trauma continues on to this day because in 2014, I just finished my first semester at Delta State. That's the same semester I pledged in KA in college. And I had a lot of fun that semester, and my liver was very worn out if you're picking up what I'm putting down. And I hadn't seen, I mean, I saw the family during Thanksgiving break a couple weeks before, but I hadn't really seen them all that semester. So mom and dad had planned and the entire Christmas break out for me. To the minute. We're going to wake you up at this o'clock, and we're going to go and do this, and we're going to do this, and we're going to sing Christmas carols. We're going to go to the lighting of the big Christmas tree, and Christmas by candlelight at First Baptist, and we got tickets to new stages of Christmas Carol, and all like everything planned out with as much holiday cheer as you can stand. And on this one particular night, we were going to go to Canton, Mississippi, which Canton has a lights festival. And if you've ever seen the movie A Time to Kill with Matthew McConaughey and Samuel L. Jackson, then you've seen the Square of Canton. Let me share my screen really quickly so y'all can get an idea of what we're looking at here. Sure. So that's looking out of the old courthouse over. It's very pretty. It's like they put up like 1 million lights, and it's kind of like the central Mississippi thing to do at Christmas is go get your picture taken at the lights, and about 500,000 people, or it's not 500,000, but a lot of people get proposed to over there. It is somebody who is something that somebody wants, is proposing over there. That's it's very pretty. So we go and we're riding around Canton and we're looking at the lights along with 50,000 of our closest friends and neighbors from Central Mississippi, and you go at a crawl, it's like. And that's like you're going less than 1 mile per hour around the square because you got little kids and families going and getting their pictures taken. You've got us people that are riding through looking at the lights. You've got the locals who are just trying to get home, and that's their way around. Anyway, so we're riding around, and this is like our 5th time or 6th time around the square. Because again, there's so many people, it's really hard to park unless you're going to park 4 blocks away and walk. And we also, if you've seen the European Vacation movie with National Lampoon, and they get stuck in the roundabout around Trafalgar Square, Big Ben, Parliament, all that. And it may not be Trafalgar Square, but, unless you can get onto that outside lane, you're not exiting. We got into a route like that. So we're making the loop, and I look over, and there is a jewelry store, and they've got one of the Walmart animatronic Santas, and I'm like, oh, okay, that's pretty, because they have a big display window. Well, again, we're going very slow, and by the time we get back around to the store, I look up, and it had gone from that animatronic Santa to like a real rent-a-Santa. And just like that, I had a flashback. So thanks to the SCV,
you have a fear of Santa.
I've got a little bit of a fear of Santa.
That's bless your heart.
Ho ho ho! Merry Christmas.
I wouldn't say Santa was ever a big part of my family's celebrating Christmas. You know, they always, well, Santa's coming. And Dad, at one time, funny enough, I probably wasn't acting up in an SCV meeting, but I think I fell asleep. And I was like cadet age as I was.
You fall asleep? No.
But when I was real younger, I fell asleep at the SCV meetings. And I remember Dad being like, Santa's not going to like you falling asleep at these SCV meetings. This is your heritage. You need to pay attention. And my father writes a letter as Santa, puts it in my stocking about a week or so before Christmas, because my camp celebrates Christmas in November because we meet on the odd months of the year. And it's a letter from Santa telling me how important the SCV is and telling me that I shouldn't be falling asleep. Now, Dad did it as a joke.
How do you know it wasn't the real Santa?
This is true because apparently he is an SCV member.
Jason Boshears. Luckily,
Fat enough to play Santa.
I do have one gray hair. I don't have the temperament to be Santa, and every male in my family dies before going bald or having white hair. So,
don't you put that out in the world. But
I'm serious. My dad had like one little streak of gray hair when he passed a couple years ago.
Don't put it in the world though. But most of my Christmas interactions with Santa were very pleasant. My father really went above and beyond making sure the holiday season was special because it's our favorite time of the year, especially his. Now it's mine, but back then, he was all about Christmas. And yeah, he wrote letters as Santa, and it'd be like, I know you've been a good boy, and naming exact grades I made on tests. So I thought Santa had like connections, man. Santa's like, you made a 97.8 in your reading class. And I'm like, huh? I can read, jerk. I struggle reading aloud because of my dyslexia. So why don't you suck on a lemon?
Santa doesn't like if you lie.
I used to.
All right. I'm sorry for interrupting, but I have played Santa before. I couldn't see you playing Santa, but I could see you playing an elf.
Let me. Someone asked us how do they subscribe to our YouTube channel. Go to
the YouTube channel and hit subscribe.
Yeah. Well, I'm gonna put the link in the chat. Just give me 1 second. But yeah, the worst thing I knew about Santa growing up, I never had one of those stories. But my brother did punch a mall Santa right in the face. Was not dealing. And I mean, he's 4 or 5 maybe, so that would make me, 10 or 11. And we're taking the picture, and I look over, brother, tears in eyes, leans back. And I'm like, he's not. Decks the mall Santa. And we had to stop going to that mall.
I will say this in response to give it a few years I could portray Santa. For a couple of years there at my SCV camp's Christmas party, whenever Santa would show up, I would miraculously disappear, and I always had a phone call from the commander in chief. At least the commander when the commander in chief wasn't there. I ended up not getting my picture made with Santa. I'm not saying that I am Santa or was Santa.
Conversation connections.
I'm not saying that I was Santa Claus for a Christmas party or 2 or 3, but I will say that there are no pictures of me and Santa.
That's interesting.
I will also say that one particular year, Santa, because he was in a bar, Santa had left his normal suit at the North Pole and had to borrow one. and the pants were knee breeches, and yeah, they
did
yeah.
too well.
No. They just how do I put it nicely? They didn't have real buttons on them. There was like those like shirt buttons and like pearl snap buttons. And so when Santa sat down, he heard pop pop behind him, and then had to look to one of his helpers and was like, "Hey, listen, y'all gonna have to take the kids outside before Santa gets up. If not, Santa's going to flash everybody, and nobody wants that."
No one wants that trauma.
But I just heard that secondhand.
Is that secondhand? Before anybody asks, because someone has, no, I don't smoke pipes. But when I'm writing long, either my book or other things that I'm currently writing, I do like to have one. And I was writing something for our Patreon members. They'll be the first to know about it. So that's what I was doing. But I do love these. I go through these because I gnaw the living crap out of them. But if I'm going to smoke something, I usually just smoke a cigar. What did you do?
Well, you're saying how you don't smoke a pipe. I was going to say how, besides dipping tobacco,
we're going to live long lives.
I do smoke a pipe.
I would smoke a pipe if I had everything to do it.
Well, you have the pipe. You just need pipe tobacco.
Yeah, I know. I'm just saying I usually don't get pipe tobacco. I usually just get a regular cigar, and I only smoke cigars sparingly because of my own childhood trauma that we might tell on the show at some point. I don't like the smell of smoke.
So there's a shop which Jason talking about, past Commander-in-Chief Jason or RS Jason Bashir's.
Or if you're looking at our Patreon, Jason Bosher.
Yeah. Good job there, J-Bo. There's a specialty tobacconist here in Jackson. I need to go over there tomorrow because they have a Christmas blend that is pipe tobacco. That
time out. This is too good not to pop up there. Can that be a t-shirt? Just, you've heard of Elf on a Shelf. Now here's Bosher on a shelf. Picture of Jason head over an elf. And it just says like I'm watching you or something. Something creepy. Something to give the next generation of kids nightmares. That's coming to the chat store at some point. That's coming to the chat store at some point.
I'm already working on it.
Oh, I'm so glad he's not Commander-in-Chief. We'd be out of this organization.
Yeah.
Oh, crap.
So anyway, the
renewed for season 6. We're not going to point to who killed us off, but his name might be Jason.
Yeah. Anyway, the tobacco shop, their Christmas blend is called Figgy Pudding. And I tried a bowl of it last year and meant to go back and buy it, and I didn't. I'm currently working on a pound of the Parsons blend, which
quick.
is, yeah.
Because again, would I smoke a pipe 100% because I do enjoy an occasional cigar. How does it differ from a cigar, from a pipe? Since we're live on air and have about 2,000 people that are going to watch this.
I mean, you collect this. You don't inhale the smoke. Much of the same with a pipe. Do I have a filter in this one or not? I don't think I do. No, actually, I do have a filter.
Yeah.
Do what? This
one came with a filter.
Yeah. So I do have I need to get some more balsa wood filter. This is actually in good shape. So you can put a filter on it. It is. Pipe smoking to me there's a lot of ritual to it. It's harder than smoking a cigar because the keeping it lit is very, very difficult to do. They have a chance to burn out. This is my second favorite one. My favorite one's a meerschaum, Turkish meerschaum one that's at the house. I smoke a pipe about once a week. But like I said, it's how and cigar smoking has a tobacco talk. Has like occasionally if you don't get the foot lit right, you'll have an uneven burn or something like that. And you've got to relight it and catch it up. Whereas like when I put out or if I have a cigar burnout on me, it begins to taste like ash. So it's whereas with this, because I use a blend that is I'll get the exact
Well, I told you why I started doing this, and I might as well tell everybody. So I'm writing about 3 books and a special surprise for the chat heads. Of course, Patreons will get to see it first, and Patreons will have a lot more access to behind the scenes stuff on what I'm writing. But I got this first because it was a joke between me and my father talking about the great Shelby Foote. You got to have a pipe if you're going to be a Southern author. And I got it. And funny enough, now it feels weird not to write with one, especially long form things. Of course, when I'm sitting down and researching history for my books or for this project while you're looking this up. But I have been, because again, I do smoke an occasional cigar and I wouldn't smoke a pipe a lot. But, and I found this actually last week. The one I had beforehand was a very, very tiny one. It was a kid's one. And I was like, I need to get a real pipe, one that could actually be used in case I ever thought about smoking a pipe. And I've enjoyed this. So, yeah, Mr. Jeff, if you want to give me the contact for that place, I'll.
Yeah, which I've got. Yeah, and I've got a corncob pipe somewhere. I haven't been able to find a corn. I like this, Sherlock, for lack of a better term, Sherlock Holmes style, with the curb and everything like that.
I really like that one. If I had some money to actually put into it, I'd probably get one similar.
Yeah, that's the other thing. Pipes are not. 2 of them. I have one that's carved in the shape of a sultan's head. Don't ask. I got it as a family heirloom. I've got my grandfather's pipe that the stem, and it's kind of this shape, is like the mouthpiece is broken right here. Like I said, this is my travel one. It's Italian, made out of some type of, I can't remember the wood, but it was $130. And my other meerschaum I paid $200 for. So.
Hello.
I froze up.
Am I the
computer
Okay.
No, my computer froze or is freezing.
I was making sure it wasn't me. If I ever get something other than a corn pipe, I'll probably get something similar to what they use in the war, simply because those guys are my inspiration. But at the same time, the pipe that you have, again, for lack of a better term, the Sherlock Holmes pipe, I've always loved the design. And again, I thought about getting one, but I just, again, these are, I don't know what draws me to these, but I've just loved having these. I got 2 of these, technically only one because the other one I threw away because it was a child's pipe that I was.
Am I back? Am I back?
Yeah, you're back in full color.
Okay, good.
We could hear you.
So
I was checking on Facebook and it doesn't look like you froze for the live stream audience. I don't know.
Okay, yeah, I had a full like white screen. I think I had one too many tabs open because I was trying to do the Elf on the Shelf with Jason's picture on it. No, it is a fruit and burley blend that I smoke. That I really, really love. They had one that they don't make anymore. That what I started on was a cherry burley blend. So it's
I bet it tastes good.
yeah, I think I'll let you sniff it, smell it because it smells really good. So yeah.
Don't
So there was an eggnog riot in 1826 that Jeff Davis and Robert E. Lee were a part of.
Let's hear that story before we go too far over time.
It's our show. We can go as far as overtime as we want to.
This is the season finale. They're not going to see us for a while, other than the fact there is a pre-recorded look around and Commander's Comments this Thursday.
Yeah, Jason, clay pipes do work. I had a clay one that I bought at a National Park Service site that I kept for years until finally I took a hit at a reenactment and I had it in my hat and the stem broke on. It was a tavern pipe, and I was very, very hard, or very, very heartbroken about that. Now, before I get on to the eggnog, right? I found the best way to keep a pipe lit. I found in a 1790 diary account of some guys, some European settlers that were traveling the Natchez Trace, and they were afraid that they were going to be attacked by Indians. And the guy literally had to stop every like 45 minutes for them to build a fire, build enough of a fire for them to make coals, for him to then take a coal and put it on the bowl of his pipe before they could continue on because he was that nervous. So yeah, eggnog, it's a riot. 1826, the United States Military Academy bans the drinking of alcohol. No, but let's backtrack before that. The history of eggnog, according to GCB. Eggnog originally developed from around the 1400s in England. It was a rich person's drink because it highlighted different spices like cinnamon, nutmeg, that sort of thing. It was originally milk, wine, curdled milk, wine, and spices. And then they later changed the wine out for rum and added eggs to it. And that's where the nog came. Well, that's where the egg came from. And it was served in wooden glasses called nog. See, y'all just thought we were getting just a bunch of random fact or random stories. For those that stuck around, you're getting the real history now. By the time of the American Revolution, eggnog really takes off. It is a very popular drink because there are a lot of commercial dairies in the colonies, people selling excess milk, things of that nature. George Washington and his some of his papers there at Mount Vernon has a recipe for eggnog, which is a pint of brandy, a half pint of rye whiskey, a half pint of Jamaican rum, a quarter pint of sherry, 12 eggs, a tablespoon of sugar, a quarter cup of cream, and a quart of milk, and then any spices to your flavoring or to your palate. So yeah, George liked to drink. Of course, George Washington being from Virginia. Thomas Jefferson, who was the president who started West Point, when he was president of the University of Virginia, actually during Christmas would invite students over to drink eggnog with him. Eggnog was a traditional drink that was given to the students of West Point there at Christmas and on Washington's birthday later on in the in February. So that's, you know, that's it was something they looked forward to. Now, of course, you're looking at a bunch of young men, around 250-ish cadets at that time, all from different parts of these United States, away from home, couldn't go home, and especially a lot of them being from the South and being that bitter cold winter, they were looking for some merriment to make their spirits bright, pun intended. You know, again, 1826, the Commandant Thaddeus, what was his last name? It was something weird. Excuse me, Sylvanus Thayer. See, I got it mixed up. Decided to make it an alcohol-free campus. Well, some of the students decide that's all well and good, but we're going to go ahead and sneak alcohol in. Even though it's been roughly 100 years since this happened, it still happens at college campuses today. Boys will be boys.
Amen.
Anyway, so the cadets get their information, or get the order that, you know, hey, it's going to be a dry Christmas this year, and they decide that they're going to not, you know, do that. Of course, just like any military installation, even since the Roman times, there are many bars that are around West Point.
Wow.
The most famous, of course, being Benny Havens. Well, according to the history, Benny was trying to charge what they thought was an absorbent amount for the liquor, and they went to another bar, local bar called Martin's Tavern. And roughly on December the 22nd of 1862, several cadets, two of which were from Alabama, went to Martin's Tavern. And they purchased their whiskey and rum and other rations that they would need, returned back to West Point, bribed the guard who was on duty sentry, who was a full military, you know, U.S. Army guy, and smuggled specifically 1/2 gallon of whiskey and others into the North Barracks in preparation for the party that would be 2 nights later on December 24th. Yeah, that was well, if we want to get really specific on it, one 1/2 gallon of whiskey was brought in to the North Barracks. Then another cadet brought in 2 gallons of whiskey to room number 33. That was brought in by a Virginian. Names are not being mentioned to protect the innocent. Cadet, another cadet from Kentucky brought in another gallon. He actually did get it from Benny Havens, and that was brought into room number 5. So if we're looking at 1/2 gallons, that's 0.5. Plus 2 plus 1, that's 3.5 gallons of whiskey brought into the North Barracks.
Say that.
On December, say again.
Say that one more time.
3.5 gallons.
Hey boy.
of yeah, is brought in. I wish I had created a graphic of time, you know, the clock going. We fast forward to 7 a.m., December 23rd, 1826. Thayer met with 2 cadets, one from New York, the other from the Commonwealth of Virginia. That one from the Commonwealth of Virginia, y'all go ahead in the chat, see if y'all can guess who it was. One cadet questioned about was questioned by Thayer about his correspondence with his parents. Meanwhile, the other cadet from the Commonwealth of Virginia questioned Thayer about trigonometry problems for artillery gunnery. Classes and barracks inspections continued as that day. 1745 rolls around. A Christmas party took place at Thayer's residence, at which case wine was served. The Academy's chaplain was there, along with other members of the staff and the commandant of cadets. specifically a conversation between Thayer and Major William J. Worth. The Commandant of Cadets had a conversation about a cadet from Mississippi. Y'all guess who that was? Who was having some disciplinary problems.
Boys, stand back.
Yeah. Entertainment was provided by the West Point Band. The party ended at 21:30. 1,800 hours, 4 cadets, another one from Mississippi, and 2 from Pennsylvania met at Benny Haven's Tavern. They had a discussion about the life of cadets. They left before the academy quartermaster could arrive. Meanwhile, at the North Barracks, cadets are planning the party. Preparations include stealing bits and pieces of food during their mess hall meal visits. During this time, cadets residing in the South Barracks found out about the North Barracks party. It's December 24th. Things are about to get heated up.
Hey, boys.
Yeah. One cadet who was in charge of the external post on the North Barracks was from Massachusetts. Captain Ethan Allen Hitchcock. He's not innocent, so I can say his name. He's an actual member of the military. He's a faculty member in military tactics. He was also stationed in the North Barracks. Think of it like almost like a RA or a dorm dad. That cadet and Hitchcock met and discussed about the smuggled liquor into the North Barracks. Everybody knows what's going on.
Stop.
At that point in room number 28, 9 cadets break out the liquor and start drinking. Numerous cadets appeared as the party progressed. Meanwhile, in room number 5, another party begins. The certain Mississippian who was having disciplinary problems was in room number 5.
How good of a time was he having?
Having a pretty good time. Of course, things continue on. At about 2 a.m., such a loud commotion starts, and singing ensues. And Hitchcock comes in to break up the party. Now, he breaks up the party. One of the student with disciplinary problems from Mississippi is sent to bed and goes to bed, and things die down. Soon after, though, the party comes back to life. Well, Hitchcock goes in there and tries to break it up. And now, all of a sudden, he says to the one cadet who was on sentry duty, hey, go get the comm, which is, the commandant of cadets. Go get the comm. They thought in their clear minds, he said, go get the bombardiers, which was the artillerymen, the actual U.S. Army soldiers that were stationed there at West Point, the enlisted men and things like that didn't get along with the cadets.
This is a great plan.
Yeah. So as he goes to get the commandant of cadets, and the drunk cadets are thinking he's going to go get the actual soldiers. They, in their drunken, teenage, addled minds, think, well, filled with testosterone and bright ideas, that it would be a good idea to fight back. So they start getting their saber bayonets. They start getting, any pistols, swords, things like that. The captain at one point thinks that he's going to die. They began tearing up furniture, breaking the stairs, breaking windows. Just everything goes on. The commandant of cadet makes it there, and he looks up and he's like, I don't get paid enough for this. Let them sleep it off, and we'll catch the guilty parties in the morning. And that's pretty much what happens. So the next morning, revelry is sounded. The cadets have to go out there and get on the parade ground. Several of them are disheveled, uniforms not tucked in, clearly hung over. If you've seen that scene out of the Pacific after they leave the bars in Melbourne, the one guy just falls. I could see that, just falls flat on his face. He's so hungover. But I could see that happening. There were several cadets that didn't take part in it. I believe it was 19 that ended up being a part of the party. Of those 19, 11 were suspended. Nothing good ever happens after midnight.
No.
Especially on the back of Larry McClooney's porch in Greenwood. You get enlightened on certain military tactics. It was a rowdy night. Like I said, a lot of Southerners involved, but 2 Southerners specifically were involved. One of which, being from Mississippi, would later become president of the Confederacy, Jefferson Davis. Jefferson Davis had a very good time at West Point. He was always getting into trouble. He was not, surprisingly, of the 19 students that went on court martial, 11 of them were expelled. He was not expelled. Because he, after being sent to bed, went to bed and didn't take part in the actual riot part of the eggnog riot. He had fun at the eggnog party. He was not brought up on court martial, and him and another student from Virginia, the Commonwealth of Virginia, Robert Edward Lee, were allowed to testify on several students' behalf and saved their careers. Lee was in the South Barracks at the time, living in the South Barracks, so he didn't even go over there. In fact, it is said that Lee spent the evening polishing his boots. So you have
Lee,
the Marble Man. You have Mr. I never got a demerit all 4 years. Has not been done since, and was not done before.
Yeah, you have
and
Lee,
then,
who is again one of the greatest men to ever live. And I'm not knocking Jefferson, but I will say Jefferson sowed some of that Mississippi pride that night.
there used to be a school in Mississippi called Ole Miss. Now it's New Miss. Yeah. And one of the things that Ole Miss was proud to say is, we may not win the game, but we'll always win the party. I believe that Jefferson Davis was the inspiration for that quote.
Let's be honest. Jefferson Davis is the spirit animal of what Ole Miss was
what it used to be.
That's why I said was before their downfall, sadly.
Yeah. So yeah, that's just a little bit of war between the states. I mean, it is war between the states related because Lee and Davis are involved with it. And had Davis been expelled, it's one of those questions, what ifs of history. Would he have met Zachary Taylor's daughter-in-law? Would he have had the military experience to then go and serve in the Black Hawk War and the Mexican War? Without his fame with the Mexican War, would he have won Senate? If he hadn't been a U.S. Senator and Secretary of War and all this other great stuff that he did before 1861, would he have been selected as provincial and then elected as full-on Confederate president? Who knows? But it's one of those history questions that's just so interesting. And of course, Robert E. Lee there, of course, exemplifying the character that he showed and being that Marble Man all throughout his career in West Point, his U.S. military career, his superintendency of West Point, his example that he led with the Confederate Army, and then during the horrors of Reconstruction, what he did at Washington College and now Washington Lee University to set an example for the South, the whole South, on how to act and behave. That is still something that many of us hold to this day. His example. So,
amen.
Yeah. Oh, y'all didn't know we were gonna get serious on a topic, did y'all?
No, I don't know if we've done that in the history of any of the other Christmas in Dixie series.
Start off funny and then go to something serious.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure we've been complete. We probably look like candidates for that eggnog riot in the other episodes.
No, you look like a candidate. You look like Jeff Davis during the eggnog party before the riot right now.
You know what? I'll take that as a compliment.
I think I wore something like that to a date party when I was, in the fraternity life.
You want to hear something funny?
No.
This was worn to a party.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I'm talking about the hoodie, the captain's hat, the ripped up Hawaiian shirt.
The shirt was ripped up at the sleeves, but I did rip the collar just randomly during the show just because.
Yeah, but again, it's like I can again how history is just so funny how it works out, and again, kind of our premise of this show is history is not all that it seems, and just because you learn one thing in school does not mean that it's true. History is written by the winners, and it's up to us to do that. And we can tell that story in many different ways with humor. But at the same time that whereas the world demonizes these men, part of the reason why we exist is to remind everybody that they were men.
Amen.
They were human. And as men, they put up with some of the harshest, worst conditions that you could ever imagine. They saw quite literally, today is the 9th. Wednesday is the anniversary of Barksdale's men standing there on the banks of the Rappahannock River, fighting the Federal invasionary army that would go in and sack Fredericksburg, Virginia. That literally tore the town apart. The first time a town had been sacked on American soil since Washington, D.C. in the War of 1812. Complete violations of the civil liberties of the constitutions that the Confederacy was trying to defend because their ancestors fought for it, their ancestors wrote it, they knew what it meant, and yet the invading horde from the North showed their contempt for the Constitution and constitutional liberties that were guaranteed by that document.
Heck, they still do.
Yeah, our views and opinions on that one. So that all being said, they saw that happen. They saw, you think about the winter or the Christmas of 1864 with Atlanta falling and the march to the sea and the burning of Georgia, as well as Mississippi having been burnt and several other hard-fought campaigns. The Army of Tennessee being massacred at Franklin and turned around and froze to death at Nashville. But think about Lee's Army in Northern Virginia up in the siege works at Petersburg. Yet those men held out. They were men, and they deserve to be remembered.
Amen. And that is will forever be the core of this show. Yes, we're here to entertain you and provide Southern programming, but we're also here to make sure that history never dies. The funny parts, the bad parts, I got a lot of great memories of where I am right now, a lot of bad memories. And speaking of, 1864, Oxford was burnt pretty bad. That history is forever with us because it is the horrors of that war will forever live on, if there's anything I have to say about it.
Before we close out, I've got one more thing.
I don't know about.
The what?
So I'm scared about surprises now. What are we doing?
It's something. It's something. It's
something serious. Something.
It's something. It's something sweet, and we'll end with this. And you can actually get a copy of this at headquarters.
Hey.
So as the story goes, sometime after the end of the war, 3 young Southern girls were confused as to why no Southern children received toys at Christmas during the war. Their aunt suggested that the reason was because General Lee would not let Santa cross the lines into territory held by the South. The inquisitive girls took it upon themselves to write General Lee and find out if, in fact, that was the case. They greased the wheels by complimenting Lee, saying that he was the goodest man that ever lived and that he, quote, always spoke the truth. Their letter continued as follows, quote, please tell us whether Santa Claus loves the little children of the South. For we think he don't, because he did not come and see us for 4 Christmas Eves. Auntie thinks you would not let him cross the lines, and we don't know how to find out unless we write you and ask you. We all love you dearly, and we want to send you something, but we have not anything nice enough. We lost all of our toys in the war. Bertie wants to send you one of our white kittens with the one with black ears, but Auntie thinks maybe you don't like kittens. We say little prayers for you every day and night, dear General Lee, and ask God to make you ever so happy. They signed the letter with your little friends, Ludi, Bertie, and Minnie. According to Mrs. Clark, General Lee wrote the little girls back, thanking them for their prayers and explained to them what happened to their toys. His letter stated the following. The first Christmas Eve of the war, I was walking up and down in the campground. When I thought I heard a singular noise above my head, and on looking to find out where it came, I saw the funniest looking little oddfellow riding along in a sleigh through the air. On closer inspection, he proved to be Santa Claus. Halt, halt, I said. But at this, the funny fellow laughed and did not seem inclined to obey. So I cried halt. And he drove down to my side with the sleigh full of toys. I was very sorry for him when I saw the disappointed expression on his face when I told him he could go no further south, and when he exclaimed, "Oh, what will my little Southern children do?" I felt more sorry, for I love little children to be happy, especially at Christmas. But one thing I was certain, I knew my little friends would prefer me to do my duty rather than have all the toys in the world. So I said, Santa Claus, take every one of the toys you have back as far as Baltimore, sell them, and with the money you get, buy medicine, bandages, ointments, and medicine, bandages, and ointments for our sick and wounded men. Do it, and do it quickly. It'll be all right with the children. Lee continued in his letter, stating that Santa Claus saluted, drove away, and returned before dawn with not only the requested supplies, but much more for the sick and wounded men, and that Santa did this every Christmas Eve during the war. Lee closed his letter by inviting the 3 girls to write him again and signed off with your true friend, General Robert E. Lee.
I love that General Lee still took the blame for them not getting any gifts.
Yeah. And you know, whether it's true or not, you know, it's still, you know, it speaks highly of Lee's character. You know, that he'd be willing to, you know, which again, if you read the book Lee the Last Years, I need to reread that. It talks about Lee in his civilian life and how kind he was and things of that nature. It's definitely, you know, whether it's true or not, I don't know. But what I will say is that having researched Lee and read enough about him, I could see it being true.
Me too. Because I mean, if I got a letter similar to that, you know, and I've made the joke before, it's the line thieving Yankees' fault. He could have easily done that. But again, Elisa and his character saying, no, I asked Santa not to come instead to help our boys. You know, again, he still took the blame on themselves for them not getting any Christmas when in fact we were being invaded and fighting in a war. I like to believe that's true. I've heard that story a couple times, and every time I hear it, I feel like it's the first time I've heard it.
It's currently out of stock.
Oh, I definitely want to get that as a book to read to my children one day, if I have any children. That's a joke between me and Connor.
Well, first you have to be something that somebody wants.
First, you got to be something someone wants. But again, just the great man Lee was, as always. But you go ahead. I'll go down a rabbit hole because I can already feel it coming. I'll get on a box.
Speaking of Christmas things, remember, because we're going through the store right now. If you need ornaments for your tree, if you need gifts for that SCV member in your life, visit scv.org and click on the store tab. You can get these wonderful pewter ornaments that show what used to be on Monument Row before those dirty, rotten, murder and rape and pillaging Descendant Puritans 2.0 took over and destroyed that beautiful artwork, including the Davis, the Lee, the Jackson, the Stewart. This Flags of the Confederacy ornament, this battle flag commemorative ornament, the logo ornament.
I want the logo one.
The different Confederate heads, pewter ornaments, Christmas cards, Elm Springs. You can get those at there. You still have time. You have until this Friday for ordering by Christmas. Again, remember that they are back in stock. I'm trying to bring up the image really quickly. Boom. $74, great canvas duffel bags, life member logo as well as regular member logo. Get them while supplies last. Have to order by the 13th of December. Remember that when you order, you have to show that you are an SCV member. So make sure you've got your number handy, or if you're a Santa shopper, is buying it for you, make sure that they've got your number handy. Also, some other. Go ahead.
I was like, I just really want them duffel bags. I'm getting one at reunion this year.
Hey, did you see this? It's a lamp.
I want.
Yeah,
I love the logo on it.
Adam's supposed to be checking to see because it's locally made up there. Because it takes 3 to 4 weeks for delivery. They're made to order. They burn a tea light candle. I'm hoping that I can get the life member on there.
I'll take whatever y'all have because
Ooh, the book bag's on sale.
Ah, yes, I have a book bag. Actually, I got my SCV suitcase right next to me. You can get one of these in headquarters as well. Let me move all my work stuff. I was working, and something just hit the ground. I don't know what it was.
So a bunch of stuff just in time for Christmas, especially with the cold weather that's in the South. Get a toboggan, especially if you're bald, like Tom Strain is.
Please do. You'll need one. I have that pen. Oh, pocket watches. Go back up. I love me. Connor's been on trips with me where I spend a stupid amount of money for a pocket watch. Just a lot of great stuff in that store.
Yeah, and it's not just our stuff. It's my sister finishing up her second term as OCR president. Well, actually, she's not. She's got a year left. OCR president. Then I'm probably going to get her something from the SCV shop, especially if you have kids.
Yeah.
We do have toys.
Get you something for your special kids in your life.
Or your non-special kids.
Or you're not. Get one for the kids you don't like. My views and opinions.
Yeah,
That's
get them
a good one.
something. No, I'm not gonna say John Bell Hood.
Get them some John Bell Hood stuff. Oh crap.
So yeah. Tartan tie, which we just had St. Andrew's Day the other day. Those executive pad folios are really good.
Yeah, no, I need another one because I've used
Lost
mine.
yours?
No, I still have mine. I got mine right here next to me. But I need another one because I have filled that one up, and Larry gifted me this one. And
Well, you know you can just buy a new legal pad, right?
Well, there's a reason I'm gonna get a new one. Not that I appreciate past Commander-in-Chief Larry McClooney's gift, but he got me one that he broke so he could buy him a new one, and he just gave me the old one because I'm a poor broke college student, and he was nice enough to give.
That is actually your third. So with that, we're going to go ahead and end the episode right here. We hope that you all have the merriest of Christmases and the happiest of New Year's. We will be returning in our first episode will be January 6th, 2025. January the 6th, 2025. We hope that you and your families again are blessed. Remember that, again, anything off the SCV shop, order by December the 13th. If you are looking to get anything from Bonfire, I don't know when their cutoff is, so go ahead and order those, especially if you want one of the sweatshirts between now and then. If you're not on our Patreon, we will be recording the episode next Monday and probably releasing it next Wednesday on Patreon. So get on Patreon, listen to that old episode, and that way you can be, ready for the, hey, good job there. Good job there, Jason. Glad I could help you out with that. That will be, January 6th, we will return. We shall be back. Like MacArthur said, we shall return.
We shall return for season 6. Holy crap. Of SCV Chat.
Until then, for the last time in 2024, unless we have any breaking news that needs to be broken, in the words of the late, great Harold Philpott. Oh, hey, I forgot to mention something. Get yourself a Christmas goat. Or Yule goat.
Or get yourself a Christmas moose. We all deserve a Christmas moose in our lives.
I'm sorry. The Yule goat is a lot more interesting. But in the words of the late and great Harold Philpotts, no Fumar in the elevator. And Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas.
You sound like Cousin Eddie just then.
Merry Christmas.